Greetings, everyone. We want to welcome you today to the We Are Flora Pearl podcast. I am your host, Latasha J. Humphrey, founder of the Flora Pearl Foundation Incorporated, and we have a special treat for you all today. And before we get into that, I want to let the audience know that this podcast is being brought to you by the Flora Pearl Foundation, where our vision is bridging the gap and building a legacy. Our mission is that we are a 501c3 community-focused, nonprofit mentoring organization building healthy relationships and partnerships between women and girls through education, community service, networking, unification, and career planning. Our inspiration is Flora Pearl Humphrey. She was a beacon of light not only for her family, but for all of those who came in contact with her. As the matriarch and woman of faith, class, style, and grace, she especially taught and inspired the women and girls in her family to pay it forward with her generous lifestyles and with theirs. Flora Pearl was my paternal grandmother, and we built a strong relationship. We had a lot of love and respect for one another, and that's where I draw a lot of my strength and just who I am today as a woman. And so I'm very grateful for that. Without further ado, I want to introduce a beautiful gem who I met a few years ago through a mutual friend of ours by the name of Natasha Rimbert, who is the founder of Dream Girls Christian Academy International. So we want to give a shout out to them. We were doing some work, and giving back to girls through the BCAP program. And from that moment, this beautiful gem, she and I, we hit it off, and it's been nothing but love since that time. And so I have seen her be consistent and just such a blessing to the family, to her family, to the community, to friends, to extended family, including mine. So without further ado, audience, I want to introduce to you Doella Miller Thomas. Hey, Doella.
Hello, how are you, Latasha?
Awesome. It's such an honor to have you with us today. And if you would, just go ahead and briefly just introduce yourself to our audience.
Well, I want to thank you for the opportunity to even be on the broadcast. It's truly a privilege and it's an honor. As Latasha stated, my name is Doella Thomas, and I am an excited, energetic, vibrant person. I love life. I love who I am, and I love who God created me to be. I am married to an awesome, amazing husband, going on 11 years on this weekend on the 28th. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. My boyfriend for 16 years, so it's just lovely. I am a mother of 3. I have 2 children biologically by birth and 1 through marriage that is just like my own. And I am a fitness instructor. I'm a motivational transforming speaker. I love to help people organize and teach people how to be mothers to their children, and even help women when it comes to being the wife to their spouse. So that's just some of the things that I do, some of the things that I enjoy, and I love to help people get in shape. I'm a personal trainer, and I'm also a fitness instructor. So I just love life and love who I am, but I love to be able to help other people in different aspects of life. So that's who I am, Doella Thomas.
Okay, that is pretty loaded, ma'am. I mean, do we have to do the interview? I'm thinking like that was enough for everybody to be just really interested and want to get in touch with you, if nothing else, but for just to talk with you. You really got me hype over here. So we're just going to go ahead and flow into the interview though. But, as you know, the Flora Pearl Foundation is really about building healthy relationships and strengthening that mother-daughter bond. And a lot of it stems from my relationship that I had with my paternal grandmother and also just the other women and girls in our family. But she taught me a lot about faith through example. And you and I have talked a lot as it relates to faith. But I would love for you to share, just how your faith has been a guide from a young girl to this very moment for you, for everybody to know that.
Oh, yes, of course. I must say, I was born into it. Of course, we're all born sinners, but really I was birthed into it. My dad is a pastor. My mom is a minister and evangelist. So I grew up in the church. It's been embedded in me. My parents taught us the word, so it was all I knew. Of course, for a long time, I believe what they taught. Train up a child in the way they go. When they're old, they won't depart. I believe that they said when you're not obedient, that your days will be cut off. I mean, I lived like Ephesians 6. 1 through 3. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do what they say because I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to die early.
Right,
so
right.
Just seeing my parents, their faith and their strength was truly amazing. I would not trade my parents for anybody. And I'm not saying that my life was perfect, but I'm grateful for the parents that God has blessed us with. So that's me basically as a child. My foundation, I had a strong foundation biblically. But of course I had to grow up and, I'm my own person and I made mistakes and I messed up and things of that nature. Of course we all do because we fall short of the glory of God, but thank God for his grace, thank God for his mercy that we have a chance again. But just to share something briefly where my faith was tested this was before I was married. I was engaged. I was living in Birmingham, working at Wells Fargo Financial with our mutual friend, Latasha J. And I worked there for a year, but they wanted to fire me. But my manager said, I don't want you to get fired. I need you to resign. Mind you, I had just bought a house on that Friday, but Tuesday morning I'm coming into work and they're telling me that I'm not going to have a job. So I wrote the resignation letter and I didn't have a job. I had a brand new home. I was 25. I had a brand new vehicle that I had bought 7 months earlier. I had bills that needed to be paid. And I'm just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I had absolutely nobody I could call. Nobody. I mean, when I tell you every door was closed in my face, y'all, every door was closed. And it took me to a place where, audience, I couldn't do anything but trust my Abba Father in heaven. And I began to pray and get in my word and fast. And I remember I wrote every single bill I needed to be paid. And it came up to $1,231.96. You may ask me, Doella, how do you know it? Because it's in my vision book. I go back often and I look at that and I remember where he brought me from because I didn't have anything. I was driving to church on E. I was struggling. Nobody knew I was struggling. I was before God. People were like, girl, you be praising God in church. They didn't know my struggle. They didn't know what I was going through. But I prayed over that piece of paper. I said, God, I need you to work a miracle. And I told him, I'm not praying for this another time. I believe it. I put it on my refrigerator, and I just said, it's done. In 2 days, I had a check for $1,500, which was a little bit over $200 of what I asked him for. So that took my faith to a place that I didn't know I had. I was like, oh my God. And the scripture I stood on was in Genesis, I believe it's chapter 18, verse 14, that talks about Sarah. Remember when she laughed at God when he was talking about her having a baby?
Yeah.
She didn't laugh.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, yes, you did. And he
right.
said, is there anything too hard for God? And when I was sitting in my bed and I read that, I literally jumped out of my bed, you all. And that scripture I stood on. I said, there is nothing too hard for my God to do. And that's when my faith went to another place. And I knew, God, he can do anything but fail me.
Wow. That is so powerful. That is, oh my goodness, that is so powerful. Wow.
Blessed. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah, it's still, I can understand how you're feeling because it's still, even just talking about it, I feel some type of way about it. Even when I go back and open my vision book, just to go back to remember when I get stuck or get in a certain place, I just can go back and look at that and be like, hey, Doella, hey, if he did that for you, kids, baby, he can do this right now. So it's nothing for you to fret about. And I even encourage the audience, whatever you may be going through, whatever you're struggling with, whatever you think you can't get out of, know that when you put your total trust in him, he'll work it out every time right on time. But sometimes we have to move out the way. And he wants to see, do you really, really trust me? Or are you still trying to go in the vein of what you want? Are you going to move out of the way and allow him to be God in your situation?
Right, right. And that's the thing, to be able to trust and to move out of the way. And when you were talking about the journals, I have a lot of those that I go back and have to look at. And just like you said, it is encouraging. It is where you can continue. And then also to go back to what you initially heard. whatever that initial instruction was, or whatever during this time, that promise then didn't go away because it hasn't manifested yet. And so
Right.
so that is so awesome. That is a true testament of faith, and you nailed it. I mean, as far as the faith being the top, one of the topics we were discussing today, and I want to segue into family, as it relates to that, because a lot of what I learned, even from my grandmother, dealt with faith, family, and community. And with that family element of it, I loved your mom. Just even in meeting your mom, she's just such a beautiful person. I really love her spirit, and I would like you to explain, how your relationship with her has impacted your life.
Literally, I come from a family. My mom had 9 children, but 8 of us lived. She had a son that died when he was 4 months before my time. So we grew up in the household. My mama didn't have to work. My daddy was the provider, and that's what they believe. He gonna work, but mom was at home with us. So I had a mother that tailored to each of us individually, and my daddy, I don't know how they did it. I know it was the Holy Ghost. That's really what I can say. It was the Holy Ghost, because we are all different people. And literally, we call our mom an angel. We never saw our mom. My mom didn't yell at us. She had a way how to get on us, but she didn't scream and holler or anything. She was just so compassionate in her. The way she worded things was amazing. We was like, she is an angel. And she would always tell us, I messed up, y'all. I'm not perfect. But we never saw her mess up. So I think that was all before us, but she would get up every morning and pray at 9 o'clock in the morning. There were times we would wake up and we would hear our mom and dad praying in the middle of the night. My mom is the person full of wisdom. I feel like she knows so much. I'm like, how do you know all this? She said, baby, it's God. And I read and I study. But she really built us up as children. She really loves us as her gifts. I mean, like we were her pride and joy, who God had blessed her with. So the relationship that I have with my mother, I wouldn't trade for anything. I'm grateful for the mother that I have. She's a strength. I can call on her when I need to call on her, things of that nature. But she's such a woman of wisdom. That's the best way I can describe her. And we've have had to share our mother with so many other people. She's a mother to so many other children that she didn't birth, but that's just who she is. And we like, okay, we don't mind. Hey, help whoever you can help, Mom. That's who you are. So our relationship is very close. We could go to our mother about anything growing up. We could share with her. She was very open with us. We sat down and had family meetings with my mom and dad as a whole family. But as that mother and daughter relationship, she really cultivated us as girls to become women. So we all of my siblings, especially the ones that are girls, we have that mother-daughter bond with our mother. And we just actually sent our parents to the Bahamas for a week vacation because they just celebrated 43 years. So all of our siblings and I, we got together, let them cruise over there, let them stay on land, let them cruise back. So that was truly a blessing. And the reason we wanted to do that, audience, because we honor our parents. We honor our mother. We honor our father. And I know I keep putting my father in here. I know it's a mother and daughter thing, but I've always seen my parents as one. I remember I had to write a story when I was in, I think, 4th grade, and who do you admire the most? And I said, my parents. And I said, God said that when they joined, that they become one. So I saw them as one, even though they were two individually. It was just a spiritual connection that they had. But I'm just truly grateful for my mom. Her name is Betty Miller, and she's a jewel. She's a jewel sent by God to be the angel and that pillar that has kept our family together.
Whoa. Yeah, I did. I saw those, the pictures, and I saw, even when you shared about honoring them. And I just think that is so awesome. And when you talked about with your mom too, having to share her with others, I want you to say something at this time to encourage those who may not necessarily have had that relationship with mom, share something with them to encourage them in this moment.
Yeah, for me, I guess I can use the example when I went to college. I guess I expected everybody to have what I had, and I kind of was naive and didn't realize that people didn't have that type of relationship with their mothers. this is kind of jumping a little ahead because I'm a biological mother of two, but I have a blended family. So I have a daughter that's 18 now through marriage, but I met her when she was 2. And she has a mother, but their relationship was not there. So I can testify to what Latasha is asking me because I had to cultivate this child that didn't really have a mother-daughter relationship where we were able to have that mother-daughter relationship. So just because you don't have that true relationship with your mother does not mean that there is not a mother out there for you that can really nurture you, that can really help build you. But you got to make sure that you're open to receive it because you may have, bitterness in your heart or some hatred or some resentment or some things that you hold down deep that no one knows about. But you have to get to a place where you allow a mother of wisdom to come into your heart. So those things can begin to get break and be when they're broken, you can begin to mend back together. So even though you don't have a relationship with your mother, you can have this with someone other that can be that mother figure to you. Because even though I have my biological mother, when I moved out of state from my mom, God always gave me someone that was like a mother to me in that place. And my mom always said, I pray when y'all leave this house and you go to college and go to your various places, that you can meet somebody that can be a mother to you when I'm not there, like y'all have seen me be to other people. Because we saw my mom bringing other women, into our home that she loved on and nurtured. And they were not our biological siblings, but we saw what our mother did to them. So my mom said, I was investing in somebody else. So when you were out of here, somebody else can invest in you. So you have to know there's a mother out there, if you don't have your biological mother, that's ready to invest in you. Just open up your arms to receive them.
Right. And we on our last podcast, actually the first one, and you're number 2, but
oh, wow.
I know, right? On the last one, we had our guest Dolores Burr Smith, and she, basically did a dare because she said, she didn't want to do a challenge. There's so many challenges out here, but she dared. That was kind of one of her last thoughts on with a woman. She said, to change their lives and take a young girl under their wings. And it could be, she said, it could have been your own child, but, just do things with them. And she said those conversations and, but even with your mom, just being open to that happening, because I know I've seen sometimes where some parents, they feel as though they have to be the one. And the reality is you're not God. And you can't be everywhere and you can't be all to your child. If that's the case, that's almost like idolatry. Where this one person is, you're looking to them for everything, and you don't have, that's God is our source, and so, with our parents, they're helping us along the way. And there, of course, can be that foundation, those pillars in our lives, but they're not just it, like they can't share. And so for your mom to be open to be willing to say, my prayer is that you all have those other people along your journey. That is awesome to me. And so with that, that's I say that, and I shared that about that dare because that's what it'll take. And it takes a village. It takes more than just us, even though, I think about even me being a mom, I used to feel that way. Like I had to have this S on my chest and, like I could just do everything. And the reality is I am not able to do everything. There's a lot that I can do, and there's a lot that I will, and I know I'm responsible for. However, being everything is not the goal. That should not be where that's what you want them to only have you on this journey, because there are times when I believe that you won't be allowed to be there sometimes because, and that's because if not, they will lean and depend on you only. And that's not what they're supposed to do. So, I definitely believe in being, like I said, that pillar, that foundation, giving that foundation. But, opening up, like you said, that experience, even with your mom or even with you sharing with, your daughter in the blended family situation, and I would like for you to share, even with that experience, how that was with you going into that blended family.
Well, for me, like I said, I met her when she was 2. So I met my husband in college. Met our first freshman year in college, but we started dating our second year, which was August the 23rd, 2000. So the first date I had with him was going to a football game. And his high school came to the city we were living in when we went to college. So his daughter was there. I didn't see her, but I remember him saying, I'm going down to see my daughter. But eventually I met her after a couple of years. So by the time we got married, I had knew her for like 5.5 years before we even got married because we dated through college, you know. So we already had, you know, a good relationship. So by the time we were getting married, she was 8 years old. And the struggle or, I guess, conflict was, of course, that it was the mom because I had such this relationship with her. But I remember when I was dating him and she had a picture of he and I together that she would keep in her bag, and she looked at me and she showed me the picture. She said, my mom said you ugly. And I looked at her and I said, you know what? That is not nice. I said, and I didn't talk about the mom or say she was ugly. I said, we're just not going to say that. So I just left it at that. You know, I kind of talked to her about it, and I think she was 5 when this happened. And to me, I was just like, oh, wow, you're better than that in your child already. But I just let her know, we don't call people ugly because that's not nice to say. Mm-hmm. And the way we blended it, like I said, by the time we got married, Shemaiah was a part of our wedding. And I just dealt with a lot of big friction, from her mom, you know. But I had that type of personality. When I see you, I'm going to speak. And you're going to speak back to me because I command it. I just didn't take all that wishy-washy stuff and things of that nature. And it was a process. It definitely was a process. Shemaiah came to live with us when she was 13. Can I say it again? She was 13 when she came to live with us. And I was pregnant with my first child that I was getting ready to deliver in the next 2 months. So I basically got 2 children at one time. My own biological child and my child through marriage that was 13. So that was a struggle. It was tough. It was a lot that we had to endure and go through, and I had to shape and mold and all those things. I had to get on my knees and pray. I scream, I holler. I'm like, why do I have to go through this? What did I do to deserve it? But I just continued to show the love of God to her. I continued to show the love of God to her mother. And, you know, now to this day, her mother and I talk on the phone. My daughter just had a baby in October, and I was in the delivery room with her and the mom, and the mama wanted me to be there. So,
I love it.
And her mama told me, I need you to pack a bag because I'm going to need you to be here. I need your help. So I'm like, okay, as long as I'm free, I promise you I'm going to be there. My husband and I had just got back from out of the country from France. And that next couple of days, I was packing a bag, driving to Starkville, Mississippi to be there. So that's how God can shift things. But when you're dealing with blended families, you can't force.
Right.
Don't try to force anything on people. You be the person that's kind, even when people say other. Because I was cursed out through messages, not in person, but I was cursed out over the phone by her. You MF, you a stepmama, stay in a stepmama role, blah, 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 going through this. And I don't use step parents. I'm blessed to be your other mom because I'm not a step anything. Mm-hmm. So it was just, you know, horrible and horrific. And I'm like, oh my goodness, Father, help me. And, you know, but we got through it because I realized it wasn't about me. And what I learned throughout the whole thing, Latasha, was God truly taught me how to love. Where I thought I knew the love of God, through that situation, he taught me what true love was. And I see how true love from somebody not liking me, not wanting to talk to me, not wanting me in their house, to let me come sit down in their house, let me go in their child room in the back, asking me to be in the delivery room with them, you know, asking me for tips, what to do, how to do X, Y, and Z, how he transformed that. But it took love, the agape love, for that to transcend and to transform.
Yeah. And that, you know, just even in this day and time when we talk about I've seen the hashtag and I've used it a lot about let love lead situations. And it has a lot to do with just period. Just anything you respond is a confession. I say every day, I respond in love because you have to go. It's like you have to go through the day, you know, preparing yourself for that. Where you are thinking, what would be the love thing to do in situations? Because, you know, I mean, sometimes if allowed, situations, things, people, they can get you to go there and want to act out of character. But just like you said, going back to that love and really learning love, because some of us, we think we know it. We really know love, and really the love comes when you're tested to love for real. Not the love we not the love we
To love.
right? You said what?
The love, you said that the real love comes when you're tested to love. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, but because really and truly we really think that. And there was a time I remember, and not that every day I don't have to decide that that's how I want to respond, but there are times when I want to respond different. Don't ever think, and people, they tend to think or have this thought that that's what you want to do. Not always at first. That's not it. The thought, at least, it comes. You can see yourself doing something different sometimes, but then you choose to say that's probably not going to be the best thing to do. If I do that, I find myself even certain things what you see on the internet or different things like that. It's certain ways that you could respond. Don't think to me, it's not about having the challenge to calm. It is about your response, and even in times when you miss it, you choose to repent and you keep it moving, choose to go in a different direction. But it is, that test, you can think you got it, but not really. And even for me, when you were talking about, even with the co-parenting, I have that, I'm a part of blended family. And I know that it didn't change until I chose to change. Because we can always look at other people and what they could do different. But really and truly, it's about what are you going to do? What will you do different? Even if the responses are not initially what you think, but how can you make it better? What can you do to make the situation better? And so that, I love, just even that, and maybe even you sharing about the delivery room and just how all of that turned around. And it happened because the willingness, like you were saying, I always believe relationships can happen because of two willing people wanting to do that. And so that's a full circle experience, and I'm sure there's so many gems that can come from that. We have to definitely do that at another time to let you share even more, because I believe that is something that people need to know, as a significant other in dealing with blended families, and just the blended family situation period, because it's more now, we see it a lot more now than maybe or it's brought to light more now than maybe it was in the past, But with that, definitely, going into that lit love lead, that's a lot of what giving back is about. And I just wanted you to share, about that and leading with love, and how, that led you to wanting to give back a lot, because you're a giver all day, every day. I mean, that's what I've known about you, that I feel like you have to be sustained in situations. When you talked about different situations that have come up or they rose, I just feel because you're a giver that's what I believe we have in common, that's one of the things, at least, that giving. And I just wanted you to share, your love for the community and why giving back means so much to you.
Well, I'm going to start with this, with our family, because I'm saying my family, my husband and my children and I, our purpose is that we always purpose to bless a family each month, but we always want to bless somebody each day. That's the purpose, that we feel that we have the love of God in us so much that it exudes, that we can be a blessing to somebody else, because we know that we are not where we are by chance. We know that it is God that we are where we are. So we love to bless, and we love to give to other people, because I love to see a smile on somebody's face by blessing them with whatever God tells me to do for that particular place or for that particular person, even in the communities, even with getting back into the school, even in the church that I attend. I give back by teaching in the nursery. I give back by teaching to the youth, the middle school and the high school, because that's where I want to be, because I want to get to those younger children to really, truly reach them. I love being in the nursery. I have a 2-year-old son, so I love getting to go back in the nursery with those 15-month-olds and the 2-year-olds and the 3-year-olds, and y'all, them singing unto God and just having fun and learning about Him, and just seeing how excited they are. That's a blessing. So for me, I'm getting to give that and deposited something so great in them as well. And then just with giving in the community is so important when it comes to our youth, when it comes to our young ladies, just teaching them just the basics, how to act, how to present yourself, how to dress, how you should be, how you should respond. You know, I love how you even stated, Latasha, how we would BCAP was a program that we have in Birmingham, Alabama, where we could go into these inner city schools, and I get to do the fitness with these children and exercising with them. Then after that, we get to sit down and talk about doing vision boards, or talk about how they present themselves, or helping them with confessions. That was so amazing.
Yeah.
And still to this day, sometimes I get messages from these girls on inbox, or some of them texting my phone, you know. So just to give back in that way, and you know it connected to them. A lot of times people think, oh, I got to give money. Money is great to give. Please don't get me wrong. But giving of your time,
yes,
that's something as well. You know, when you can go in and do something for somebody else and you're not even charging them a fee at all, that's giving back. I'm actually privileged and honored right now on the first and third Monday where I live. I get to go what's called Shepherd's Fold here. It's women that have been incarcerated that are out now. I get to go speak to them for an hour. And that's giving back to the community. I don't get paid for that.
Yeah.
But that's giving back. And my younger two children, when I go in the evening time, my younger babies are with me. So they're getting to see mama do something, which is imparting something into them. Even if they don't fully understand it all, they're seeing, okay, mama helping these people. They don't know these people background. They don't know that some of these people have been charged with capital murder or doing something crazy or being strung out on drugs, but now they're transforming and they want more for their life. We have to find what God has called us to and purposed us to and give back to people. The Bible tells us to be cheerful when we give. We should be excited about giving. It's a great thing to give back, because what you sow, you reap. It's not like you give it and you should never expect anything back. Something's going to flow back to you. But when you do it from a place of a genuine and a pure, sincere heart. So giving for me is, I love it because I saw my parents do it growing up. And then just to marry a spouse who is a giver. I actually texted my husband a week ago and told him, I'm a giver. I said, but because of you, you make me want to give more. Because he does stuff on just out the blue. He'll give somebody $100 just because they need to be blessed. I mean, a homeless person he'll do this for, you know. So giving, seeing him being the head of our home, and he has that compassion, and he's so sincere about blessing other people, that's deposited into our household and for our children as well.
Wow, Doella, that's like full circle. That is, wow. That's so, I mean, that's, and it really is, you know, it really is a testament to of you can have all of that. You know, you can have where not only just you, even with your children, it's whatever you're desiring, but it can be that, like you show where it can be where you come together as one. You know, and have those healthy bonds and what I call life-giving relationships, you know, whether it's, you know, you having it with your mate, or you having it with your children or your family, extended family. You can have that full circle, and you all can help inspire each other and help motivate each other to want to do better and want to do more. You know, so I mean, that it's definitely been awesome talking with you. And I wanted to go into our closing segment, you know, what we call Matters of the Heart moment. And the first thing I want you to finish this, you know, and speaking to your 4-year-old self, what would you say to her?
And speaking, to say that again?
To your 4-year-old self.
To my 4-year-old self?
Yes. What would you say?
Because I was thinking, me? Is you talking about my daughter?
You talking about me? I know. To your 4-year-old self. And I got this from, it was a Facebook memory that came up. And it was back in 2013 that I wrote, and I had a side-by-side picture. I found a picture of myself at the age of 4. And I had a picture of me, you know, at that time. And it was what would I say to her? And part of it, what I said was, you know, trust God and know that you matter. And I was just like, you have a work to do, ahead. So you talking to your 4-year-old self, what would you say?
Me talking to my 4-year-old self, I would say, make sure Jesus is the center of it all. Keep him in the center, not just the first and the last. Make him the center, because if he's the center, he holds everything together for me. So to my 4-year-old self, I would say, make sure Jesus is your center. That's what I would say.
Awesome. And next, what motivates you?
What motivates me? Right now, what motivates me is my children. I have a 5-year-old at home and a 2-year-old, a son, Tyler, and a daughter, Zoe. And they motivate me more than anything, because one of my primary roles right now is being mother to these 2 young jewels.
Perfect. And any last minute piece of advice you want to share?
The only last thing I would want to share is just be who God created you to be. And if you don't know exactly who you are, begin to search yourself, pray, journal, write down everything about yourself that you think you know, and then ask God to truly show you who you are. And you'll be surprised at that. And a tip that you can do with that is ask people that are in your just your close circle, so it's only be probably a handful. Ask them this. Tell you you're good, you're bad, and you're ugly. And that's going to help you as well.
Well, audience, you have it. We want to thank you so much, Doella, for sharing with us today. And it's just been such an honor. And, just as we move forward, just my team and I, we're here to be a blessing to all of those we come in contact with. And our desire is to always operate with the spirit of excellence. So we look forward to coming to you all each week. And we're signing out today. We'll talk to you soon.